Hey there, people on my channel. This is another episode of How to Watch TV where Jeremy and I and Dre usually sit around and talk about shows we watch. This is not one of those channels that dives super deep into the lore and all of the Easter eggs and discovering this and that. And you're not going to learn stuff here other than what our opinions are. It should be an entertaining conversation. Jeremy, do you recommend they continue watching at this point?
I do.
Okay, well, I'm glad he said that. We're just going to dive right into the episode because...
This is how to watch TV.
Live from 9 Mile Studio, my name is Joel Henderson. With me, as always, Jeremy Vasitis and not Dre Brown. Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah, what's up? We're sponsored by 9 Mile Branding.
Oh, we didn't do that shit last
we didn't
time.
do it. We completely forgot it last time, which is even funnier for the bit.
Yes.
So, I tried to remember half of it there. So, but we're
I
sponsored
set
by
up a
9 Mile
new
Branding.
bit.
We're brought to you by the Comeuppance Network, our producer, sitting right there in the chair. That's him. You can check
Pinstripe
out all of
Adidas
our
suit.
past, present, and future content at howtowatchtv.website.
That is the actual, you have to actually type that. Don't think that that's a bit. Howtowatchtv.website.
Website.
Like, that's the website.
It was annoying, and then it became funny, and now it's our website.
And then
website.
also AB Cannabis Training out of Illinois. I'm really trying hard to not say Illinois.
Illinois?
Yes,
It's
Illinois. I know, but nobody really says that. Listen to people now. Like, have that be one of those glass-shattering moments.
It's an Indiana thing.
Illinois. Like Illinois. That's just how
Illinois.
it wants to come out, Illinois. And I've been
Illmatic,
fighting it for the
Illinois.
last year. Like, I decided I'm not saying Illinois anymore. And, like, I've only done it once, and I got called out on it. I'm like, damn it.
Right.
I'm really trying on
Dude,
that
so
one.
there's one of the I won't say which podcast it is, but I watched one of it. There's another one. It's like one of the comic ones, I think. He says especially.
Especially, yeah.
It's like I mean
Or
it's
height.
like it's every time he says especially, and I'm like, dude.
Like, somebody tell him, please.
Please,
Can
somebody
just...
tell him. Like, and I like no, like we're in the age of like it's either you're, like nobody wants to do even something subtle like that. That's not a hurtful thing.
Right.
It's that you don't have a speech impediment or anything that somebody's making from. You're saying a word the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like bagel.
right.
Yeah.
It's especially. It's not especially. Like, so it's just when I hear him say it, it's just like, yeah.
Whoever it is going to know exactly that you're talking about him.
No, they're not. They're not, because they're not going to listen to this.
Well, my first question on here became moot because I put "What are the dwarves hiding?" I was watching through the previously on, and I forgot about the opening the box and there being a glow or whatever.
Okay, and I called it with the remember I said it was the Eye of Sauron, so I was wrong.
Oh,
I said it
okay.
was one of those Palantir things, like the orbs.
Oh, okay. When he picked it up, I thought it was going to be like vibranium or something. Just tie it into marble.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's essentially what it is.
Yeah?
It's Tolkien's vibranium.
Of course. Okay.
No, because everybody stole from Tolkien, man.
Can I just want to, I'm not going to keep belaboring this point because I've said my piece on it, but they did just shove it in my face again, and I really, really hate the way they're spoon-feeding us this stuff with Sauron. I really don't like it. Like, I really wish they just, why do you have to hammer that home? Let us figure out that used to be, he used to go by many names. Like, they straight up say Sauron had many names. Maybe this is one of them. Like, dumb. Stop spoon-feeding us. Like,
You're talking about Adar?
yeah, I'm saying.
I don't think he's Sauron at all.
But in the like epilogue,
I know what
thing,
they tried to do, but I
dumb.
don't think that's him at all.
I
think,
hope it's
again,
not.
I think they're trying to throw you off of another scent.
Okay, good. I'm fine with that, I guess. It just seemed like, just leave him out of our minds. We already got characters on screen mentioning him.
I get it.
Stop
But see,
telling me that in a voiceover.
My only defense in that is we never actually got Sauron as a character in those movies that we love. He was an eyeball, a floating eye that whispered at
Right.
people. He was never a character.
So wouldn't that pitch for it to be him? Wouldn't that be a better...
No. I want to see I want to see him in hiding. I want him to be somebody unexpected. I don't want it to be. You know who that guy is, though, too, don't you?
He looks very
It's
familiar.
Benjen Stark.
Okay, yeah.
Ned Stark's brother that
Right.
disappeared for 9 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Right.
Came back at the
Even though there was only 8, he disappeared for 9
Sorry, whatever.
seasons.
Yeah, it was like he came back in like season 7, I think. It was like after they escaped Hold the Door. That was season 6, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
So like after that was like the episode after that. He like saved them after they were like
Right.
lost in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what his nickname was.
Cold hands.
Cold Hands. Yes.
So Yeah, I don't know. That's just a minor. I just have this thing with Sauron in the show.
I don't know why it's bugging you so much, but like I know I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
We know he's the big bad. We know he's there. We just don't know who he is yet. I think that's a red herring, dude.
Like, I really
don't
hope
think
so,
it- I
because
don't think
if
it's
that's
him.
straight, if it becomes him, I'm gonna be annoyed, because it's like,
That's too easy.
you didn't
I
even
don't
give
think
us
it
a
is.
chance to
Yeah,
try
I
to
wanna
figure it
say-
out.
You know who I think it is?
Go on.
If I had to guess, if you like were like, hey, no, I want you to make an official call right now. I think it's Halbrand.
Yeah.
I think it's him. The way
Okay.
he can kind of manipulate a room
Well,
subtly.
let me throw this to you as well. If there was somebody that it would be worth Sauron's time to be, it would be the uncrowned king of the Southlands.
I like it. See, I do. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the connection there. I like him leading Galadriel into this, but thinking she's leading him, and just it turning all like on her head by the end of the season or the end of
Right.
a couple of seasons that he is Sauron. He
The
is
one that
Dark
she
Lord.
the one that she avoided going
one-
into the thing for is the
one-
one that found her just outside of the void or
The
whatever.
one she's hunting has been at her side the whole time is a sick.
Yeah, I'll
like-
take
I
that. I
kinda
like
like
that so
that.
much better.
I like that, but like just the fact that you keep mentioning his name is bothering you. See, dude, when they found the map and they in the lore thing, when she moved it sideways and she like discovered what it was, I got a huge smile on my face. I thought it was awesome.
Well, why would that be a bummer? That was a cool revelation.
Well, to me, that's along the lines of it just being Sauron. I thought that was kind
no,
of the thing that
like
was
you're
bothering
saying
me.
though, if they flesh it out well in a way that
Right.
makes that character a character, as
That's what I'm-
opposed to just it just being this omnipotent evil that can never die. That's
That's what I think that's what I think they're hopefully building to, and I think that like even if it was I'm not going to be disappointed if it's not him, but like even giving us one of those characters that we're like learning to trust,
right.
and be like, all right, man, we're rooting for this dude. No,
Like it's Elrond or something.
oh shit! Well, that's just not going to happen. That's not possible. That breaks too much of the Lord of the Rings lore,
Okay.
all of it. You know.
Speaking of lore, like they started the episode with that flood dream thing. What did that remind you of? Anything?
Did we remind me of?
Yeah, like that scene. To me, it reminded me of the Daenerys dream with the snow falling on the crown room. Like the way the white petals were falling, and it was like
hers
that
was
above
much more
shot.
flashy, but it wasn't a dream. They gave you that by the end that wasn't a dream. She wasn't sleeping. She was like standing there. She was like she was touching that thing.
Oh, she was looking through the
Yeah.
thing. Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, okay, reminiscent of that, but like Daenerys's was much more like she was like walking through different, like.
Like I said, just the
walked through like the
snowfall
snow
and
into
the-
the tent, and like she sat with Drogo, and then she was like
Maybe
And then
yeah.
she walked through the throne. Her dream was like much cooler.
Right.
Like I thought the flooding of Numenor is that's a cool concept.
So it's an island, right?
Yes.
That was weird that the water came in from so high up on the island.
Right.
You know, like it was falling down somehow. So like a tsunami, maybe, something like that.
I think so.
Like that's the only thing that would
Yeah.
even make sense.
Right.
And so like that was starting to come true at the end. Is that what was going on? Like the petals falling was going. No,
Either
no,
that
you're
or-
doing this
see,
wrong.
Like I don't think. Yes, I think it was not. I don't think it was the. This is a point of no return. You know what I mean? Like I think
was a
it's
warning,
Like,
like-
a warning. Like
yeah.
if you just send her away, this is your fate. When if you maybe make it the opposite choice and go with her, or like join the elves, and like she's asking you to do, this might not happen.
right.
Right.
When they were like,
But dude, I don't trust what's his face.
which guy?
Dude with all the medals. You notice that dude's got all the the different guild medals
Yeah.
on his chest. As
Yeah, no, he's got
his name
something.
is Az, like Az something.
Okay.
Az Magaroth or something.
No, Pharazon.
As
I swear that's what it was saying. when he was
no,
talking.
that sounds better.
Pharazon.
As Pharazon or something like that. Like
I didn't even see anything before that. I just saw Pharazon, like when he was talking,
Okay.
or somebody was talking to
Yeah,
him. I
maybe
could have
you
guessed.
might
I
be
could have
right.
written down
Yeah,
the
you might be
wrong
Yeah,
name.
I couldn't think of his name, but yeah,
But
he
they
was
were all shouting about like this and that. But it very much sounded like none of those non-whites here. You know what I mean?
No, and that's exactly what it was.
It was very much
did you see
Attack on
how, though-
Titan.
So now during that scene, did you catch how he walked up to that guy and kind of like gave him a nod? Like, I think that might have all been like,
Well, yeah, as his son said, he can turn a room in a second or
but
whatever.
he had already
He
no,
set it up.
He set it up.
Yeah.
So that dude was just up there spouting that shit because he had told him to do that,
Right.
so that he could come in
And rectify it and make it a better chant and a better
right.
like
That's
call
a good
to
way
action.
to. No wonder he can turn every room because he's manipulating it
Right.
in ways that it's not a natural turn. He's played it so far in one direction that he can come in and easily turn it the other direction
Right.
and spout his own kind of rhetoric as well, because he didn't say something dissimilar by the time he was done. This will forever be a kingdom of men.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. No. It just felt very like.
Just imagine an extra in the back of the overactor.
Said what? Overactor? Oh, the guy to begin with.
This kingdom of men.
Oh yeah, that
It
was
was
a
a
bit
little
much.
showy,
It was
yeah.
a bit.
That's where I say. That's where I'm thinking like some of this dialogue isn't there. Like it's not pulled directly from Tolkien himself. Like they're filling this in because I don't know if Queen Muriel's a thing either. I don't know if she was new for the show or not.
I don't really know. I don't know enough about Tolkien.
I have to
lore
look it up,
know.
but I don't know. I don't know if she's. I haven't heard her name in any of the lore. Again, that goes hand in hand with Adar. I haven't heard his name in any of the lore either, so I think he's an added character. So I don't like. I think it's one of these things put in place to maybe like throw us off a little bit. I don't. That's too easy. He's not Sauron. He might be trying to become the new Sauron.
Yeah, I'm fine
Or
with
the
that.
new,
I
like
just,
I
it was
think
annoying.
That's what,
So
I think
I'm
that's
hoping
what he's
it's
doing, and he's managed to get the orcs to like follow him. See, dude,
He
that's
could be his second. Sauron was Morgoth's.
Yeah, no, and that's where like I think he was like instructed to carry out this plan that they mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
He might be a spoke in this wheel. That was like
Yeah,
actually
he's
written
supposed to be
it was
filling
actually
in as
written in a
Sauron.
wheel.
He's
Like,
supposed
how
to be,
easy
yeah.
was it that she turned the fucking thing on? It's like, oh shit.
Right. Uh-huh.
A quick little story. I had a customer that bought like these like 3D chrome letters. Ones at the old job I used to work at. They're like the auto badges, like they go on that like your car.
Okay.
And we don't make those there. You know, we buy those. She called me or he was a dude. He called me and he's like, dude, I got this chrome badge and the 4 is backwards. And I'm like, that's just not possible, man. Like you know what I mean? Like mistakes can happen, but we don't make those things. So those things come pre-packaged. Like there's no way it could be backwards. So I go to the shelf and like I get one out and I'm like looking at it and finally I spin it in a way that it looks like a backwards 4. So he sends me a picture of it, like, and I sent him a picture of it, like just I like put it one way and then took a picture of it the next way, and he called me back and he was like, oh my god, dude, I am such a dumbass. He's like, I can't even believe we had this phone conversation. I'm
Right.
so sorry. And I was laughing my ass off.
So very
I'm like,
similar with Galadriel.
that's what I mean. Like how she's just like turns the sigil sideways and she's like, oh.
Yeah,
You know,
oh,
like,
that makes
come
more sense. Yeah.
It's a map. It's a map of the Southlands. Thousands of years. Thousands?
Right. Yeah.
Thousands?
Been around for a long time. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
You've been
her.
around for a long time. You've been hunting him for thousands of years.
Yes, and you never thought to
Ye-
just pop
ye-
the map sideways. Yeah.
Right. It seems to me like it was like, okay, like,
Right.
like, come on.
So, what do you think of what do you think's going on with Isildur? Like, what is the voice? Do you know, like from the movies? What I can't remember.
Well, it seems like he's being called west, but in the map that I know, west of Numenor is Valinor.
And he's in Numenor.
He's in Numenor.
Okay, so when they were talking later after he got them kicked off the boat, they said, "Oh, you're talking about that more west
Right.
than Numenor
So,
thing."
Right. So he's talking about like he feels like he's being called to the undying lands. Like
Oh, like the through the light thing.
it's yeah. That's where. So she sailed from Middle Earth to
Right.
there and then swam back and was picked up and went to Numenor.
Right.
So
Potentially with Sauron.
So like I think that's like it's kind of unclear to me because they keep saying west. He like wants to go west, but that's to the Undying Lands. That's like where the elves go. Like how like
So is it
You're
is
not
it even remotely possible that the Undying Lands are a trick from Sauron? Like, and he's
that-
trying to
not-
get him
no,
to
no,
go
no,
there
no,
so
no.
that he so
Oh,
that
you
he
mean,
can't like
wait, okay. So stop. You mean like the Undying Lands don't exist in Sauron? Because I don't think that's the case. That would be again too far off of.
well, I'm just saying it could be
lore.
it could be a trick via
Could he
Sauron.
be- like Sauron is making him think that he's being called west. Is that
Right, kind
yes.
of in that way too.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
that's
can,
another
I can get on
take
board
on
with
it.
that. I can.
That
I
he's
don't
trying
think
to
that
draw him
he-
there.
He owns the Undying Lands, and he's got everybody tricked into sending them there. That's not the case.
But if we're rolling with what's his name, Halbrand, it could be him. The idea there would be that he's waiting right outside it. Like,
for Galadriel,
well, I mean,
for-
would he really know like who exactly what everybody's going to do? He's not a prophet. Like, or is
But
that how it
he
is?
could- but Sauron has spies and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay,
there's
so he
people
could've-
that are loyal to Sauron and that believed in Morgoth. Even some elves might have.
Right.
You know, we got Adar. He's obviously an elf.
Right.
He says it. He's.
Well,
an
I
elf.
feel like he was an elf. Like
Yeah,
whatever
he's-
became him.
Well, that's what orcs. Orcs technically are corrupted elves.
okay.
That's what orcs are. So those guys and all
Mm-hmm.
the boatmasters, those are orcs. See, I was thinking I was going to say this before, and you're like, "Stop! We're doing the podcast." I love what they're doing with the orcs here. We didn't
Okay.
get any of that in Lord of the Rings. You got a couple of like funny characters, but you never got any kind of like
Oh, like personality out of him, you
person-
mean?
what that whole like death chant they did
Right.
with him with the dead orc.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that was really cool.
Some of their
like,
society, you mean?
yes,
Yeah.
so like
Culture.
if you really want to break it down to it, like are they just like another society in this Middle Earth that's just trying to carve out? They're trying to like
Well, they're definitely
their
trying to
own
carve
place
out
on-
stuff.
They're making their own like, for lack of a better term, they make their own place. You know, like but
Right.
it just happens to be evil.
Like,
Or
well,
driven,
in
but
the sense that it's not
essentially,
their fault.
It's driven by
yes.
an evil demigod, basically.
Right.
If you like, for just lack, he's never Tolkien never used those terms. Like, I don't think he ever used terms like gods and demons per se, like a
Right.
lot. You know, like those were like in angels, like those weren't terms he used. But I think when Dre was saying angels, it was just a like
That was just it felt out of place in this story
I know
hearing that, but I know
does,
what he means.
But he was just trying to like give you like a level of like where they would be like thing. And I think he was even like slightly wrong on that. Like there's one like all creator god who created the Valinor or the Valar, and then the Valar created the Maiar, which are Gandalf, the Balrog, Sauron, are all Saruman are all like the angels he was kind of talking about, the
Right.
demigods per se, which is just like I guess a power level description. Like,
Did you notice they said that all of the stuff started happening after the comet came in, or the star, the
All of
shooting
what stuff
star?
happened.
Like he was talking to him about it. He was talking to the kid about it. His dad, like Theo and his dad. Theo and the
Okay,
gray elf.
his dad.
Yeah.
Oh, you call him his dad. Okay, they
I
haven't
mean,
said that yet, but yeah, I see.
She's a white woman and he's a black dude, and the kid's black. Like, and they've been together for 80 years. Like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like
No,
that's his kid.
I think you could be right. But then if it was his kid, like, see now there's this tale that about like Elrond and his brother. Like Elrond is like Elrond half elf. Like he wasn't born a full elf. Like at some point,
But he still lives forever, right?
at some point in time, he was given the choice. Like him and his brother, he had a brother, and him and his brother were both given the choice to live as an elf or live as a mortal man.
Right.
His brother chose mortality, and he chose to live as an elf. So, like, where does I want to know more about that too? Like, where does
Right.
that choice?
So
come
maybe
in?
he would have
If
to
you're
make that choice
Well,
if
does
he's
he
half
have to
elf.
make that choice if he's
Right.
half elf at some point?
Right, but he's obviously leading down a darker path. I was just saying that somebody made it sound like all this Sauron business started picking back up when the meteor crashed. He phrased it
Well-
as the star falling or whatever it was. But like, I guess my question is it possible that Sauron is in that guy at the moment? Like, could he be Sauron?
You mean comic guy?
Yeah, like the guy
Sure.
we're assuming is probably
that
Gandalf.
could be another red herring too. That would be a
Because
a-
I was just
unexpected
connecting
twist.
that
To me,
information
there's
of it
just-
happened
there's
when
just-
that happened.
yes.
You know,
To me, there's too many dots of the connecting Gandalf to that being hit with the hobbits and all that.
Sauron could
like-
leave the being though.
Fair enough. Fair
and
enough.
Then Gandalf could inhabit
Gandalf-
it, but no,
Right.
that would
Well,
make no
Gandalf does
sense.
say something in the Lord of the Rings movies. He says when he comes back as Gandalf the White, and he says, like Legolas says to him, like, "I'm sorry, I mistook you for Saruman." He says, "I am Saruman, or Saruman as he should have been." You know, like so.
It's like they gave
It kind of
two
lends
chances.
itself to what you're saying,
Yeah.
like. They're kind of the same thing, or
But it would have to be a direct split and not a Sauron leaves the body and then Gandalf comes in, because then we'd lose all of the connective tissue that makes him Gandalf, or would make him
No, it would be
Gandalf.
like they were like this share. Maybe
a
that's what.
split
Maybe that's
being.
why he's like so awkward at the moment.
Maybe that's why Sauron's so evil, because Gandalf is so good or whatever. You know what I mean? So they split the personality, and he got all the good, he got all the evil. I'm just spitballing here. Who the hell knows?
It does. It is kind of a different experience watching it. I get you don't do the lore thing, so you're watching it. for
I'm
what it is.
interested
You
in
know,
it, but I don't want to
you know,
accidentally spoil it,
you don't wanna
because all
spoil
of this is stuff it's based on stuff that's potentially out there.
It's all out there.
So that's
Most
the only
of it is
reason I'd
out there
avoid
and in lore form. So from what I understand, I don't think they got the rights to this, like the actual Silmarillion, to do like the story of that, which is I think why they brushed over the beginning with Morgoth, and they just kind of briefly said that story. Like I don't think they were allowed to go into too much detail on that
Okay.
because they didn't have the rights to that book. So I think this
see.
is all coming from like
So the
history.
Silmarillion is before Sauron?
Yes. The Silmarillion is like all,
let's see
all
it.
it's all the war. Like, dude, there's like a whole chunk of, where the Arondir,
Okay.
the elf that's captured the kid's father.
Yes.
Saying?
Okay.
When he's talking to him, he asks him where he's from. He says Beleriand.
Right.
That's a whole half of the continent of Middle Earth that fell off into the sea during that war. The war fought against Morgoth.
Okay.
That's how it ended. It ended with they show part of that, I think, in the
The
very
first one?
beginning when they show a bunch of water and they show everybody kind of floating in the water. I think that's what that is.
Oh,
It's
the red water there.
fall of
Yeah.
Beleriand as it falls into the sea. It's like dragons, all kinds of shit. Another thing, J.R.R. or G.R.R.M. stole from Tolkien. There's a dragon in Tolkien's thing named Ankelagon or something, whose size and wings black out the sky when he flies. He's so big. He's the largest dragon ever.
Yeah. Do they keep his skull in an underground cave with candlelight?
Slow at my camera.
I'm trying to figure out what other stories we had here. We had the stuff with Durin and Elrond. Like that was a cool
One of
little
the more
story.
interesting webs of the story they're trying to weave here with Lord of the Rings.
The tower being built. I guarantee you
that-
that's going to be Sauron's tower. There's just no
that
way it's not.
And the it's location. Like, it doesn't work out.
For
It's
what?
Not in the right location.
To be Sauron's tower, because it's not in
It's not in Mordor.
Mordor.
No.
But it could
so
be
just-
something that helps, cauterize him and make him more
it's the
like potent.
forge
Yeah.
that forges the rings of power.
Right.
So yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah. So so they're building it, and they're also trying to extract that other stuff.
Well, Durin's trying to do that even almost against the wishes of his father.
Well, clearly, yeah. I mean, they made up at the end, which was nice, but like, it seemed like he was blinded by whatever that stuff was. That he was just like, no, we're getting it no matter what.
Well, yeah, it's like a miracle ore. It's like it's lighter than silk and harder than iron. Like
Right.
they can make their proudest blades be nothing. Like it's like this thing. That's what Frodo's shirt is made out of.
Oh, okay.
The Mithril shirt.
Oh,
So that was a cool little scene when he's like, something in your tongue. It's like myth shroud. He's like, no. Mithril. I was like, I like said it with him, like I knew it was coming. I was like, this is awesome.
Let's see what else we got here. When he gave him the whatever, what'd you call it? Mithril?
Mithril. Yeah.
He's like, keep it. Here's a token of our friendship.
Nice. You know what though? Like I think that like there's one. I think one of the rings of power is made out of mithril. I think one of the elven rings is made out of mithril. So I
Okay.
think that little chunk of
Will become that.
will be the one that's forged into like one of the rings.
That's a cool
But,
little thing there, yeah.
Dude, he told him not to tell anybody. He swore his oath on the mountain on his father, the mariner.
But maybe he doesn't tell anybody. Maybe he just uses this material he found. He doesn't have to say where he got it from, any of that. Like he does
Yeah,
not
I
have to
think
tie it to the elf or the dwarves.
I know, and I think it's going to come around where Durin
Thinks he did.
and perceives it that way.
He'll be dead
What's
soon.
his name is going to find it? Your boy, Celebrimbor. The guy he was talking to when they were looking at the tower.
I don't know
He said
why
he
that.
looked like his dad. He told Elrond he looked like his dad. He said, "You were."
Oh, that guy. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Celebrimbor. He's the smith who forges the rings.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
So Galadriel ends up staying. They join forces, basically simply because the tree started shedding leaves.
Well, I think it was. Well, that's she. There's people, the Numenorians. There's people that hate the elves, and then there's people that secretly.
Dude,
Wait.
sorry, you triggered something. Go
There's
ahead.
people that secretly still side with them. Still,
Right.
They're called the faithful. They believe in Elendil, the captain.
Yeah.
With the kids, he's a believer. He took
Right.
her to that part of the island where they still speak Elvish. They don't shun it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like they kept all the old lore that wasn't like burned away.
I was just gonna say, I think you're onto something with Halbrand, because what was he telling her to do in the jail? You find the thing that makes him the most angry, or makes him, whatever, and he's telling her secrets on how to really piss off your enemy.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, like it's like a lot of signs are pointing to him, which, again, if it's this thing where you make us like really like him as a character or root him, and like and then you made
Yeah.
him trick her the whole time, like even if we just called it, it's still cool.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with
Even
that.
if we're calling it right now, if we're saying that that's what happens, I would still want to watch that play out.
Right.
I would not be disappointed if that's good storytelling to me.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
That's cool. Because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people that aren't into the lore that's gonna fucking blow a lot of people away.
Right.
That's
If they
that's
stop
the case.
shoving it in their faces. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. No, I feel you. I understand where you're coming from. I do.
Right.
I do. Like he's the big bad. It is what it is. I think they're trying to trick us into thinking
It's that other dude,
It's-
Adar.
it's Adar and it's not him.
So orcs are like vampires, vampire elves, sort of.
Well, they can't be in the sun.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think they're vampires in the sense that they like got to drink blood to survive. But like, yeah, the
But
sunlight
they did
hurts.
lick blood
But it
off
was
that
always
sword.
Like that, though. That's more true to Tolkien's lore. They didn't play on that too much in the movies, because that's
The
that's
sunlight aspect, you
But
mean?
that's why Mount Doom creates the cloud of
Yeah.
smoke above everything to make it easy for his army to move, because they can't be in the sunlight. They just didn't really go into that into too much detail.
Right. It was just a
They
thought.
didn't show
that
them
popped up.
reacting to the sun so much, And Uruk-hai, the ones that Saruman created at Isengard,
Yeah.
like those, they don't have that problem. They can travel in the daylight.
Okay.
That's why they were hunting the Fellowship. That's why they were so onto him, because they were
Right.
they were able to travel nonstop.
I liked that little speech Elrond gave to Durin about his dad, and like how he would just do anything for one more conversation, shitty or not, or whatever, and it was just like, I actually welled up a little bit as he was talking
I
about it.
did
I was
too.
like
I
making
did
sure
too.
Michelle didn't notice. I'm just like,
I don't even bother hiding it anymore. Like my wife even knows the points that they're gonna get me. She'll be like, you know what I mean? Like,
right,
looking at
just
me,
looking
right,
at you, yeah.
right.
Like you at
Right.
Tony during the wedding. Oh, okay, you're crying. Good.
Oh, he was. That was so hilarious.
Yeah, the rest of the stuff was like them trying to gather who was going to be in the army, who was going to join up with the elves and fight together, and I was like the three from the boat, like immediately, and those were the first three that were. I mean, what the hell?
Right. What else? What else are you gonna do at this point?
Right.
I really like. They made me care about that too. Like I felt for those guys. I was like, oh, he just got his buddies.
It's like you just set our lives on fire.
I was like, oh shit.
Like their whole life. He's like, before I could pick up an oar, I wanted to be on this boat.
I wanted to be on this boat, and I did everything I was supposed to be able to do
Right,
it.
and you didn't do shit. You
You
entitled
did.
little prick,
Yeah,
basically.
dude, that was a good scene. I really, I know. Like I said, I bought in. I thought, like I was like, I felt for those guys. So by the end, though, I think it's gonna, both of those guys is gonna die in the coming conflicts,
Yeah,
and that's gonna be an emotional moment for
right.
our young Asylador.
The only other thing I really had here was that Adar gave them the chance to serve him and forsake their lands, like Gray Elf's girl, the mom of Theo. I
Right.
don't remember her name yet. It hasn't sunk in.
Bronwyn.
Okay, that's still not going to stick.
I know.
Yeah, they gave.
I'm telling you, not all of them are right. Like, it took a while with Game of Thrones, I think,
For
too, right
sure.
away. Yeah,
They're
Yeah,
all
so, like,
ridiculous names.
Yeah,
and whatever.
it's like I'm starting to get them, but they're not all
It's like
there.
they had less letters, but somehow more at the time.
Like
It's
I-
like they had less to pick from. There's all these weird combos
The-
that you just would never
well,
think of.
The one that it's Aaron Deer, Aaron Deer.
Yeah,
It's like Aaron
dear. Yeah.
Deer, Aaron Deer. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's
Just
how I try to remember that one. Like
it's like how I do Lena's middle
Right.
name. Instead of Sahara, it's Sahara.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough. Okay, well, we'll be back next week with more discussion.
I'm
Trey
hoping
will
like
be here.
these were like teetering point episodes that like this is gonna they're both of these series that we're currently following are tipping into some like really cool shit going forward.
Well, yeah, we're
four
at
more
what-
episodes.
Yeah, only 4 more of this show, right?
Of Lord of the Rings and
5
5
more
of
House of the Dragon.
So they're both at their midway point. The next following episodes should all be
Things should be really kicking into gear.
what do the kids say nowadays? They should
Oh,
all
no.
slap. Is that the right terminology?
This is how to watch TV.